Welcome, everyone. It's an amazing, beautiful evening, and we have a very interesting panel tonight. We have the authors of the book Not a Partnership, a playbook for success in relationship.
When you find relationship books, you think, okay, I'll open it up and browse around, and I think I read it in 2 days. The name of the book is Not a Partnership. So even in Israel, we're used to calling each other like ben zug, bat zug, my partner. For me, I thought calling my significant other my partner was like a big compliment, very modern, wonderful. Why isn't a marriage a partnership? What does that mean?
Okay, so at a high level, when it's really functioning, a marriage can be a partnership. But if you think about how partnerships work, so about 80% of partnerships in the world fail. And if you look into the research about why partnerships fail, if you talk to consultants about why partnerships fail, they fail because most people think, I'm doing an amazing job, but my partner never holds up their end of the bargain. And anybody who enters marriage with the idea that it's a partnership is going to fall into that trap, which everybody falls into, which is, I'm working, I'm tired, I'm doing my job, how come you sit home all day and do X? Or I'm working with the kids, I'm taking care of the kids, I'm doing the dishes, I'm doing X, how come you don't do your part? And people wind up always focusing on what's the other side not doing, as opposed to what can I be contributing. So we felt we just had to shatter that idea of the classic partnership where I'm always focused on the other person, and get people to focus instead, and this is really one of the paradigms of the book, is that a person has to enter marriage with the idea that I have to worry about what I'm contributing to the marriage, not what my spouse is contributing to the marriage, and that will help us get it off on the right foot and keep it on the right foot.
So I want to piggyback on that and maybe pass it over. So then, what if marriage is not a partnership? One, what is marriage? And also, I mean, maybe it's a little too late to say this, but why get married? You know, now there's so many options. You can be independent. You can go through a myriad of different identities and relationships, and live a cool life, have a cute little dog. I mean, why get married?
So I'll tell you like this: the idea of what marriage is, it's always easier to say what something is not, or where something is failing. Okay, in the field of positive psychology, you have to explain why things are actually going well and how to actually make them better. So to figure out actually what a marriage is probably the question. And what's quite fascinating is that we're a big fan of all the marriage books out there. There are some amazing marriage books out there that are bestsellers in the world. But what's fascinating is that the books don't deal with this question about what is a marriage. And if you can't define something clearly, so it doesn't work. All of us are in Israel, so I was just in New York, so you use Waze. So everyone associates Waze with Israel, right? But the only way that Waze works is you have a GPS system, you put in the destination, and if you have a destination, Waze can tell you how to get there in the fastest way possible. If there's no destination, there's no clear place, so Waze is irrelevant. Maybe you can find the local gas station, but that's about it. So the idea of figuring out what a marriage is and defining that is crucial. And I'll try and make it as simple as possible. A marriage is the total investment in another person, regardless of what it gives you. Of you going out of your way to make sure that the well-being of another person is unstoppable. A lot of times when we see what a marriage is, which is what a marriage is not, is what can I gain from it? When you have two people that are totally committed to giving each other the lives that they want and deserve, so all of a sudden now you have a marriage. When it's anything but that, you have tons of options, but they're not marriage. Okay, I'll hand it over to Todd to explain, so why should people actually pursue marriages today?
What we have found is that if you want to have a relationship on a physical level, it's available. If you want to have a relationship on an emotional level only, a friend, that's also good. Spiritual relationship in some sense, great. But because a human being is created with three levels. We have a spiritual side, we have an emotional side, we have a physical side. The ultimate relationship is the relationship which combines all three. And if it's shared with others, what you wind up losing is the intimacy, not only at the physical level, but you also wind up with the higher levels which build on that intimacy level. You wind up with those levels being basically compromised as well. So the reality is, yes, I have lots of acquaintances, I have colleagues, I draw the circle a little closer, I have friends, I have some close friends. The closer you are in that circle, the more I can share with you. But when there's one person I can share my entire existence with, spiritual, emotional, and physical, it creates a bond of intimacy that no other relationship, frankly, can touch. And that gives a person all of the love, security, loyalty, all of the things that we so crave in life and are usually missing. All of that can be had in a healthy marriage. As soon as you open the door and let someone else in there, right? Like one of the things we actually talk about in the book is something called open marriage. So open marriage, right, seems like a normal idea. In other words, my spouse and I got married when we were 20. I mean, how did I know, or how did he know, or how did she know if I'd be able to satisfy them when we were 40 and 50? And now maybe they didn't make as much money as I thought. They don't look the same way they did. They're not as active. They're not as interesting as they were. So I open the door and I bring in somebody else who can fulfill part of that need for me. But what you wind up losing in that is the specialness and the intimacy of the relationship, which frankly is something that can be had in the context of marriage. It's very hard to have it outside that context. So the question is, again, if you're not interested in marriage, we're not going to convince you. If you are interested in marriage, we think we have some ideas that can help you make it successful.